Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this special presentation. It's an Ask the Expert session with me, Cheryl Tan, and I'm so thrilled that you are here today. It's part of this Big View Squad workshop series, and I am excited to be here today to share some tips on how to look great on camera, some presentation skills to remember, and mistakes to avoid, and we also have the opportunity to take your videos and I'll share a little bit of insight on how I think that these videos could be done a little bit differently in the future. So I love being here, love being part of the Big View Squad and sharing some tips and tricks that I am able to share with my clients with you. So if you are joining us today, we have such a great audience when we do these sessions. If you're joining us today, please share that you're joining us. Let us know where you're joining us from. And also, tell me what the weather is like where you are. I am in Minnesota right now, and I think we're hitting record highs today. It's going to be like 41 degrees. So I went for a little walk earlier. I was so excited to do that. So I would love in the chat for you to let me know that you're joining us, where you're joining us from, and what the weather is like where you are today. So here we've got Melissa. She's so we're trying to have her thank her that she's here today, and she's saying she's used the app, the Big View app, trying to do video, and it sounds robotic, and wanting to know what she could be doing wrong. Not that you're doing anything wrong, but hopefully you'll get some tips and tricks to help you feel a little bit more like yourself for the next videos you create, whether it is using the Big View teleprompter app or you're using your phone, maybe you're even just trying to send a video to a friend. Whatever you're trying to do, our goal is to help you feel more comfortable and more like yourself when you are creating any sort of video. See, Jim is in Washington. Sure. The weather there. Let's see. Leanne with Angeline Fitness is from Florida, pretty warm there. Sunny, Ohio. Retire Success Free is joining us from Ohio. Gail from New Jersey, 37 degrees. See, at one point in time, that would have been cold to me, but now that's actually pretty warm. Shannon is saying hello from New Jersey, warming up to around 45 degrees. Exactly. I went for a walk earlier. It was fabulous. Julie's in Arlington. Nice today after the horrible January deep freeze. Yeah, it was pretty cold. Cold there, I know, in Arlington, and definitely cold here where I am right now. So in any case, thank you for joining us. As we're talking about video, I want to ask you a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, please let me know how you feel about showing up on camera in terms of confidence level. So 1 being absolutely no confidence. 10 being I am rock star level confident on camera. Just give me an idea of where we are, 1 to 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, how you feel about showing up on camera. What is your confidence level like? I just love to hear, just to get an idea of where we are here in this session. We have Vibe from Charlotte, relatively warm there. Yep, I bet. And Melissa was saying, she was talking about the Big View and teleprompter app earlier, and she's trying to use it to do it for business. Absolutely. And it's really great to be able to use the Big View tools and some of the things inside the app to create video content for business. What helps is you have a little bit of some tools to help you create more video so you can feel more comfortable the more content you create. So now I'm getting some numbers. Let's see. I got a 5, 8. I like it. That's awesome. 8, 7. Okay, great. So we've got people who are feeling so to almost rock star level. So hopefully no matter where you are on that spectrum, you get something out of this session. So Bruno is here joining me behind the scenes. If we could show the presentation, it is a very short presentation, but something that hopefully will help you as you're thinking about how you can show up with more confidence. You can be more of you on camera and enjoy the process. So again, we'll have this short presentation, and then we have been very fortunate. We have a link, and Bruno will share that later. If you feel like you want to share a video that you've created with our team, we've got 2 more of these Ask the Expert sessions coming up, and we'll be able to take a look at them. And those we choose. So I've chosen 3 that you'll be seeing today. 3 people have shot their video and sent them in to us. I've chosen 3. Those 3 people will get access to BigView for 3 months for free. So a little bit of incentive for you to share your video content. And I like to say that it's good to get eyes on your work. And it's important to get that feedback. It's hard to do, but it's so important to make that effort. So definitely try and do that. Bruno will send the link out later, so that you can get that link, so you can upload that video content so that we can take a look at it, and in future sessions, take a look at it in an Ask the Expert session. All right, so we're talking today about looking great on camera, and a lot of it is doing some things ahead of time. And first of all, knowing why this is so important. We talked earlier about how important it is to use it for business. Some people may be using it for personal reasons, but really you're probably here because you want to use it in whatever business capacity might serve you best. And so while we're here, actually, let us know. This is, by the way, such an engaged community. Let us know what business you're in, why you are trying to create this video content. Maybe you're sending these videos to clients. Maybe you're trying to create a YouTube channel, maybe just for social media. Maybe you're sending video through email or text. But what industry are you in? What do you do? Share that in the chat. And the reason I say that is, number one, this community is highly engaged, but you never know. You might be able to find your next accountability partner here in this community. As you see, you're wanting the same things. And I find that video is something you see in your feed, you see probably in emails, that it's so important. And you might hear experts, maybe like me, talking about why it is so important. But truthfully, the reason is people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And video is that opportunity for them to get to know you before they sign up for an email list, sign up for a consultation call, for even if, let's say, you have a brick and mortar business, for them to even walk into your shop. It gives people an idea of who you are before they take that next step. And it's a little bit of work on your part, a little bit of an effort for you to make this content. But once you do, like to look at it as a foundation that people who come across you on social media, online, on YouTube, maybe they find your blog even, that will work for you while you sleep. So here are some of the biggest mistakes that I see when I work with clients. When people come up to me, they ask me, what am I doing wrong? Here are some of the things that you can screenshot this, but write it down. But keep this in mind as you're creating your next piece of video. Whether you open up your phone, use the BigView teleprompter app, maybe you're sitting on Zoom and you decide to create a video, just think of these. Number one, you're not creating enough video content. And I will have to say that I fall victim to this as well. We are just not creating enough. When we create enough, we will get better. We'll just create better. Our content will get better. Our confidence level will rise. But know that even as you think, oh, I shot a video last week, I shot a video last year, those are probably the only 2 times maybe you've thought about this video creation part in the last 6 months. So think about creating more than you are already creating today. You may not be bringing enough energy into your videos. Video flattens you out. It does. It flattens you out. It makes you look as if you don't have energy. So when you are creating this video, it is important that you put a little bit more energy into the delivery than you would think you needed to. And this is probably why if you do create a lot of video, if you do put video content creation on your calendar and you say, okay, well, I need to do this every week or at least batch create it every month, that sometimes you feel a little tired after this effort. Sometimes you feel like, oh, I just did a workout. It's because it does take energy from you, and you need energy in order to create video that people connect with. Point number 3, and this is actually after especially we do this session, you'll be a little bit more aware of these things, but a big mistake is you're not aware enough of what is around you as you create your video content. We're talking about lighting, we're talking about audio, and we're talking about framing. And framing is just making sure, as you see here, as I'm full screen right now, is being in the center of your shot. And we're talking here about talking head videos, where you are sharing your expertise, you are sending a message, whether it's with you, just you on camera. You want to make sure you're, like I like to say, like the anchor of your shot. You're right here in the middle. You've got about an inch of space between the top of your head and the top of your screen, and you don't have too much or too little on either side of you. So just be aware of that. And once you are aware of that, great thing is you'll notice it every time you sit in front of the camera after this point. And then this last point is more of strategy, but it's important for you to think about before you do sit down and create that piece of video content, is not giving your video a job. Let's put this video to work. Are you using it to try and have somebody book a call with you? Are you using it really just for them to get to know you? And that's fine. Are you using it to point to a coupon code, or encouraging them to come to your open house, or encouraging them to come visit your store on a certain day? You can give your video a job, but just one job. It's important to think about what that job is before you put the script together and hit publish and put it somewhere. So as I'm looking at what people do, great. Cameron is in life insurance. Leanne with Angeline Fitness is in the fitness industry. David is in brand awareness. Melissa is a travel advisor. Carrie, life and financial services. Stacy, a mortgage broker, nonprofit. That's what Jim Welch is. He's trying to raise money. Vibe is in the sleep industry, selling mattresses, pillows, and mattress toppers. Retire stress-free, retirement income to clients and putting them in social media. So creating social media posts. And Julie is a real estate consultant with Compass. That is awesome. Very good. And again, as you're sharing all of this, there could be synergies. There could be people you could create connections with just here in the chat. So thank you for sharing that. As we continue, it's important to take a moment. And I'll be honest, when I first started working with clients, so my background is in TV news. I used to be a reporter and an anchor, and I never thought about this before. I never thought about this part of it before. But in interviewing thousands of people over the years, helping them feel comfortable right before I was interviewing them, either on location or in the studio, this is one of those things that I did not put as much energy into as I should have. And I should have just sort of told people this. And now I do. Now when I work with clients, I help them understand that it's okay to feel nervous. If you are not feeling 100% before you sit in front of the camera, it is okay, but take a moment, whether you're going live or you are creating a piece of video that you know is important for your business, take a moment and do this 4-8-7 breathing method. It really does work. I wish I'd known this years and years and years ago when I first started in the business. Take a deep breath for 4 seconds. And we can all do it now together because it's always a good time to reset, especially as we talk about video more in depth after this. but take a deep breath for 4 seconds, hold it for 8, and then exhale for 7. And so that clarity, or the clarity you get after you do this, really does help as you sit in front of the camera and channel the energy that you will need to create the video that will get you the goals that you're interested in. So think about that, the 4-8-7 breathing method. And then feel free to take a screenshot of this. This is what I have developed. It's called the focus formula. And I created it a few years ago. I was doing some corporate training. It was communications training for a group of executive leaders in this organization. And I thought, okay, well, how can I help them communicate more effectively? And this initially was for them speaking in front of people, in front of donors, in fact, live. But then I thought about this, and it really does work in both situations. When you are speaking with someone face to face, it makes it a little actually easier because you're actually doing that work and they're right in front of you telling you the result. But it does work as well in video content if you're sitting in front of a camera. And number one is to face forward. So part of that is the framing and making sure that the framing that you have works with what you are trying to do. In some YouTube videos, sometimes your framing is such that you have words on your side, so you can put graphics up and such. But let's say you're just doing a regular talking head video with you in the middle of the screen, face forward. Make sure you're looking in the right place. You're looking where the camera is so that on the other side of the lens where somebody is watching that video, they think you're looking straight at them. So face forward. Number two is to own the silence. And what I mean by that is sometimes we get in the habit of speaking too quickly, not letting our thoughts help guide what we're trying to say. Instead, we're trying to speak too quickly. And when we start to speak too quickly, we get filler words. You know what filler words are? The ums and the ahs and the so's and the you knows and right? All of those are filler words that when you're speaking live to somebody, not a big deal. And it's actually not a big deal in a video either. But if your video is filled with just filler words, then that's what people at home, your audience, is thinking about. So again, it's not bad that you have filler words stripped out completely, but it's important to cut them out so they're not the only thing that people remember. When you own the silence, you allow for your brain to catch up with what's coming out of your mouth, and it's okay. The audience probably won't notice when you are taking a brief pause, just a little bit, so that you can get your thoughts together, cut out your filler words, which then allows you to use your voice, which simply means create a little bit of vocal variety. And here we're talking about the anti-monotone. You want to be able to make sure that your audience doesn't fall asleep. And that will mean maybe speeding up, slowing down, having your voice raise in pitch, lower, change up your tone a little bit, and really just emphasize the words that you want to make sure they focus on. And then finally, and this is really, really important because I feel like when I talk to clients, this is the point that they remember is this speak to one. You're having a conversation with one person, even though you're sitting in front of a camera, even if you're reading from a teleprompter, you're actually speaking to just one person. Imagine that one person, your favorite client, your best friend, your child. You're speaking to that one person and hoping they get something out of what you're trying to share with them. So face forward, own the silence, cut out the filler words, use your voice and speak to one person. And let me know how that goes. I'd love to hear. So out of all of this, which of these tactics, these ideas do you think will help you the most as you create your next piece of video? I would love to hear. Sometimes when we share these things in chat sessions like this, it really helps other people see what they can get out of something like this. So again, over the years, I've thought, well, I could change the focus formula. I could change some of the things, something I created. But over time, I've realized that it's been really helpful and people get a lot out of it. So let me know, which of these, if not all of them, which one will you think about as you create your next piece of video content? Yeah. Leslie, thank you. Speak to one. I think about that all the time. I remember when I first started in television, I had a consultant come over and she told me that. And I said, okay, I don't get it. I was really young. But I thought of that and I thought, okay, so I'm looking into this camera. I'm going to imagine that my mom is listening to me deliver the news or deliver this piece, this story. And that really helped. It helped create this conversation between me and my mom, even though she wasn't there at the time. And it's something you can do as well. Maybe with, again, a colleague or a partner or your best client, something like that. Shannon, yes, says own the silence. It's okay to take a pause. And I'm not great at it. I like to fill all of the spaces. It's just the way it is. But when we take a beat, it ends up being such a strong way to move forward right after that. David says, perfect tactics, being in the moment, especially with the tone and pitch, really hold the audience attention. That's right. It's important to hold their attention. It's sometimes, and again, I've watched and worked with people and again, I understand because the camera flattens us out. You feel like you're giving so much of yourself when you are reading a piece of copy or you're delivering a presentation, but it takes so much effort. And I will just ask you is when you feel like you're at a 5, let's say, energy-wise, let's say you feel like you're at an energy-wise 5, try to go to an 8 and watch the video that you create. And most likely, I worked with a lot of people on this, most likely, even though you think you're a 5, probably not a 5, go up to an 8 and then watch it back. And you may be amazed by what you see, the energy that you take to put your work out there. But then as an audience member, you're going to really feel that in a positive way. So dial it up if you can. Takes a little bit of effort, takes a little bit of time, unfortunately, but we're all here to do it together. Again, it could be an accountability buddy you meet here in this group that helps you take that energy level to an 8. And it's something that your audience feels. And it's just such a good thing. So here are some tactical things as we're talking about surroundings. So remember, I was saying some of the things that some of the mistakes I see people making is they're not really aware of the surroundings. So I encourage you to always look for the light. And I know I promise you, I know it sounds so simple, but it really is. Sometimes it means just picking up your phone and like going to where the light is and shooting your video there. I know it sounds so basic to copy what my kids say, but it really is. If you can possibly do that and have your background be fairly decluttered, then you could probably solve many of the lighting issues that you're dealing with. And that also means you may need to think about shooting your videos in the daytime or where you've got some natural light, or if you have a great light too, just sit in front of the light that you have. Get away from the noise. And so the second part of this is thinking about your audio. Now, I do happen to have a microphone, and I love microphones because they really do give clear sound. If you don't have a microphone available, you're not quite ready for an investment, although I will tell you, I do have a really great plug-in microphone that I use in my phone, then at least go to a quiet place. A lot of times the outdoors, when you're shooting video and you don't have a microphone, not a good idea just because you'll be competing with some of those outside noises. But indoors, if there's no one in your house, your kids are like in another area, nowhere near you, making any noise, you could probably get away with not having a microphone, and it is just fine. But get away from the noise because people really do want to hear what you have to say. and don't want to compete with hearing other outside things. It's too much of a distraction. And then, as I mentioned earlier, watch the headroom. Make sure there's not too much or too little. Really, we want the focus to be on what you're saying and not so much on the distractions of how you might look. I know that sounds odd, but really we want the focus to be on what you're saying at the end of the day. All right, so I'm going to my next slide as I'm looking at what's next. These are great. Thank you so much. And David said the prompter helps lift you a level as well. Yeah, absolutely. It helps you level up because you're not necessarily having to think about what you're saying. You've already done that. You've already done the work of thinking about what you're going to say. And instead, it is a frame. You're reading what you're saying. But again, the energy is still something you must think about. It has to be something that you think about. And practicing this is the key. Making sure that you put time in the calendar to create that video content. And again, video content you create is not something you have to post. You can post it, which of course is the goal of all of this. But sometimes I find that people don't create video content because they think that everything they create has to go out into the world. And that is not the truth. So create video content and pick and choose what makes sense to publish. So I want to give anyone here access to what I call is the Camera Ready in 5 Days Challenge. So go to mastervideotoday.com and use the code Camera Ready for free access. And I talk about this all the time. You can do this without signing up. It's very, very simple, but it is taking 5 days, putting it in your calendar, picking the same time of day for 5 days, and making a commitment to shoot a video. So you can use the Big View teleprompter app. You can have there's an AI script writer in there. So maybe you tell it to come up with 5 scripts for 5 days if you want. But if you don't want to do it like that, you can just get on your phone and let's say every day at lunchtime, you're going to shoot a 30-second video talking about something you learned from the day before. Something that you thought was very cool from the morning before, something like that. But just take 30 seconds, shoot the video, let's say at noon every day for 5 days. And on the 5th day, watch those videos and just see the difference. As you're thinking about what I talked about earlier, noticing your framing, noticing your audio, noticing your energy, and seeing how you feel after day 5. The amazing thing is after day 5, you might be like, that's pretty good. I'm pretty good. And maybe that's content that is already in the bag that you can start publishing, which is pretty cool. And if it is after this 5-day challenge, you're like, I could do something more. I could dial that energy to a 9 and it would still be great. Try that. And then you've got another 5 days to work on that. And then see what happens. Maybe after those 5 days, you have things that you can post that make sense for the business that you're trying to grow. It's very, very cool. And let me know what happens. I would love to know. You can find me on LinkedIn. My handle is right there on the left. And I'd love to know how this 5-day challenge works out for you. If you sign up there at Master Video Today, again, using Camera Ready as the code for free access, I have a podcast, like one of those private podcasts in there, and just some tips and tricks that might help you as you decide to create this video content. But again, you can do that 5-day challenge on your own. And after 5 days, let me know what happens and let me know how it works for you. Okay, so I think we can stop this. And Bruno, with your help, I would love to be able to take a look at some of the videos that were submitted here into Big View. So Bruno is going to share a link. So if you decide that you would like to be one of the folks who are in the pool, please sign up. And anyone who's chosen will get 3 months of Big View access for free. So there you go. Bruno just put up the link and you can share a video. And honestly, I like to use it personally as a way to, it's like instant accountability. Like you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do this, so I better do this. So I appreciate, by the way, all of the people who submitted videos. They were great. And the things that I'm talking about today are things that are pretty easy fixes. And once you see them, once you see them, they are things that you can use going forward. So they're not, it's a good thing. I don't want you to feel as if you are going to submit a video that we're going to tear it apart. These are going to make you better and make you think differently about the videos that you create going forward. So I'd love to share this one. This is from Jamie. Jamie's got a video to share. We're going to listen to about 30 seconds of the video, or watch 30 seconds.
Hello, my name is Jamie Carr, and I am the owner and sole investigator for Top Priority Investigations, a business I built not just out of necessity, but out of a calling. Growing up in the inner city of Portland, Oregon, I had experiences that required resilience, and in return, I've always been determined to carve out a path where I could help others, particularly those whose voices often go unheard. Top Priority Investigations was born.
So, Jamie, I just want to say, number one, I felt why you have your business. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And so in the comments, will you let me know what you loved about seeing her video? Because I felt that. I absolutely felt that. I have a couple of things that for videos you do going forward, you can think about. But honestly, this is why we create video content, because then people can understand why you do what you do. They get a sense of who you are and why it's important to you. So let us know, please, as you watch that video, give her some love. It's a little nerve-wracking, right, to put these videos together, but please give her some love. Let us know what you liked about this particular video. I know we only shared about 30 seconds of this, but Jamie, here's some things that I want you to think about as you create your next pieces of video content. Number one, and this is for everybody, myself included, most likely, is we want a little more energy. Remember what I said, we might be thinking we are at a 5 or a 6. We need to be closer to the 10. So we need to be closer to like an 8. So a little bit more energy, and more energy doesn't mean, sometimes I think when people say, give me more energy in video, sometimes they think, I mean, oh, like we need to be kind of everywhere on the screen. But it is more of an internal energy that we are trying to bring out. So I want you to really think about that. The internal energy. It's not like big, bold, hands waving kind of energy. It is energy from within that people can see. They can feel as you create that video. The second thing is I'm going to encourage you to do is to smile. It is okay to smile on our videos. I know that this is not a light subject necessarily. You're talking about why you're creating this video content and why this business is important for you and to you, but smile. And the second part of the couple of things here is we talked about headroom. And I think now, after you've seen what I've talked about regarding headroom, what you probably do then is just lower the camera. So make sure then, instead of what I see is maybe too much headroom, you'll lower that to maybe, I can only say, and this is not like a term that's very specific, but like an inch of space between the top of your screen and the top of your head. So that's too much headroom. Lower your camera as you are shooting that video, and it will instantly level up the video that you're creating. And the third part of this is, and I know you have glasses, so people ask me a lot about how to shoot video with glasses. And of course you definitely can, but you do have to watch out for the glare. So it looks like she may be, Jamie, it looks like you might have been facing a window, which is perfect. With glasses, there is a little bit of a special situation. You may test this out, definitely. Test it out, either if you can, keep the glasses off. If not, you may consider using a light and not necessarily using the window, and having that light shine at an angle on your face. And this is something you do test, but instead of the light coming at you straight on, the light is actually angled down on you. So it might work with a window. It is something that you might want to test, but it also might just work in different angles of this camera as you are shooting it. So I hope that is helpful. I hope it's helpful for you as you are listening to this. But this was a great video, and I think it really gave people an idea of who you are, what you do, and truthfully, you gave your video a job. And I think that is something to be commended for. So thank you so much, Jamie, for that. David says, I feel more confident than when I entered this workshop today. Oh, thank you. He says, I really needed to hear all of this today. Very powerful. David, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. And hope that we get to see your video on a future Ask the Expert. I think that would be really great. All right, so we have the second video from Nancy. I believe that might be coming up next. Yep, here she is. So we'll listen to about 30 seconds of this, and I've got some ideas for when she creates her next video, some things that she can do.
No, there are two ways of expressing you in French, tu and vous. Have you ever wondered when to use tu? You're not alone. Let's figure it out together. Hi, I'm Nancy Scarcelletta from the Language Learning Institute, where we help learners just like you confidently speak French and explore its rich culture. Today, I'll show you how to use tu in everyday conversations.
Yep. I love this. Thank you so much, Nancy. So I learned something. I definitely learned something. And I love that you're taking your knowledge and turning it into, it looks like the beginning of a video series. And these bite-sized lessons, so, so valuable. So a couple of things. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of it is going to be about energy. A lot of it is about energy. So just like I said earlier about Jamie's videos, we might think we are on a 5. We might think we're on a 6 even. We need to be closer to a 10. So Nancy, if I may ask you to try to a 9 and see how you feel, see how it comes up. And it feels really like you're pushing. It feels really uncomfortable, but try it and see how that feels as you create more video content. And honestly, the more you create, the more lessons you share. You might be sweating because, again, sometimes when I create video content, I'm like sweating after like 4 or 5 of them because it takes so much energy. Your audience will start to feel that. They will definitely feel that. The second part of this, and I mentioned it also with JP's, is to smile. This is fun. And I know you love what you do. Part of that is creating a video that is infectious, that shares your passion for something with the audience you're trying to share it with. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to smile and allow that to kind of be transferred to the person who is watching. It's very fun. And I know when in the very beginning you're creating video, you're like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that. I've got to make sure the words are right. And it's a lot to think of. First, try dialing up the energy to like a 9, and then add the smiling. If you can do both at once, that's going to be really, really great. And then have fun with it. Honestly, have fun, because this is a great topic that you're so well versed in. And if you have fun, then your audience, the students that you're trying to teach, they'll also have a great time as well. David said, can you please make a note or touch on how the videos look on different platforms? Absolutely. That's a great point and a great question. Depending on where you are posting this video content, it kind of like it's either landscape or vertical. So vertical or landscape. And if you're on YouTube and you're not doing a YouTube short, which means you're not doing a video, I believe it's less than, is it 3 minutes now? It changes so often. But if you're creating a longer form YouTube video, you're going to want it landscape, which means you have more room. You have more room for stuff. If you want graphics on either side, if you want to point to something, it's something to keep in mind. If you're doing video for social platforms, Instagram Reels, for example, TikTok, you're going to want to do that in a vertical format. And you have to be aware of how that impacts the words on the screen or things that you point to. So just be aware of those things. And boy, there are a lot of platforms out there. So as you are thinking about that, sometimes what may be easiest, and this is what I do, is I usually shoot my video landscape to give myself more options to then maybe in the future turn it vertical. So it's something to think about. And as you're thinking about your strategy, it is something you should probably think about before you create a whole lot of videos. Okay, Cameron says, love the video. Please use landscape. Oh, Cameron was saying that to Nancy. Okay. And I get it, because maybe if she does it in landscape, then she can then use that in many places. She could use that on YouTube. She could use it for other things. So I will say sometimes, and again, I talk to a lot of people about this, is sometimes they just want to get it done. And if they want to get it done, sometimes for whatever reason, maybe it's just I don't know. Vertical is easier to do that with, especially if you are using the Big View app and you've got your words on the screen and you're reading the words. For whatever reason, sometimes it is a vertical video is something that comes out because it is easier for them. So very interesting, but it is something, as you are creating a video strategy for your business, definitely something to think about. Okay, let's go to number 3, to Mr. Creative. And Nancy, thank you, by the way. Great video. And same with this last video that you're going to see. This is from Mr. Creative. We're going to listen to again about 30 seconds of this.
Mr. Creative here. As we dive into 2025, I'm super excited to reconnect with yourself. Everything that inspires this magical stuff that's happening into those little ideas. You're great. This year, expect more and creativity projects that
Bruno, I am not sure. Are you hearing that the way I'm hearing it? I'm hearing a lot of static from Mr. Creative. Are you? Bruno's going to let me know in the chat. So Melissa is saying that is exactly what my video sounds like, static, and don't like my lips are moving with what I'm saying. Okay, so I will say that I've listened to all 3 videos, and the static and the lips moving are probably the result of the technology because we're going through several platforms. So the original videos are great. The original videos don't have static and the lips are synced up, but through this, we're using another platform and we're then it's live. So that actually is more of the technology of the presentation as opposed to the original video. And then Bruno is saying that it is fine on his side. Okay, so were you all able to hear Mr. Creative's video, his words and his music? If you can let me know that, then I'll move forward with my with things I want to share about this video, which I think is very good. Okay, and possibly, as Bruno is saying, so Bruno is behind the scenes right now handling all of the tech. Could be an issue, possibly sometimes it's refreshing in order to refreshing the page, maybe leaving and coming back. That kind of makes things a little easier to hear. But can you let me know, were you able to hear Mr. Creative's video? Were you able to hear the music in the background? No. Okay. Bruno, would you mind playing that one more time, if that's okay? Because his video is very good, and I wanted to make sure that people who are joining us can hear that. Okay, so Bruno's going to reopen that video and play it. Again, as I mentioned, the videos are, they're very good. They are very good. And then these are just things as you think about going forward. Okay, we'll press play.
So excited to be creative side, embrace everything that's happening. This is something magical. Let's start fresh and tapping into those flow. Would you agree? This year, expect more content, more creativity, more fun projects. And it lets my imagination go out, whether it's the ice.
Okay. Melissa says facts. I'm not sure. Okay. So were you able to hear him? Were you able to hear Mr. Creative's words and the music in the background? Can you let me know if you were able to hear that? Same as this man here. Not sure. So could you let me know if you were able to hear him and hear his words and hear the music in the background? And I'll just go ahead and share my thoughts on the video itself. So Mr. Creative, and even if you can't, same here, no improvement. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead with what I can share with you about the video itself then. Bruno, if you don't mind, if we can just pull it up, because that might help. Now, Mr. Creative is very comfortable on camera. I'm not sure if you could see that. If we could just pull up his video clip, even if we can't play it, we can show it. He's very comfortable on camera, and that's the one thing I noticed right off the bat. Very comfortable, a lot of energy with his video. There was music in the background though. And I believe that video with music can work. Sometimes music, though, can detract from what the person is saying. And in this video, it might be a draw. You might be more focused on the music than his message. And so if you're going to use music, completely fine, but make sure that it is not louder than you, because then the focus sometimes becomes on the music and not what you're trying to say. The other thing I will say is his background was a little cluttered. And if you were able to listen to it, which I know you were not able to, his message was talking to his community, and the background was a little bit cluttered and it didn't match with the music. So his background tied into this sultry music and the background didn't mesh. So as you are trying to create your video content, things, and Bruno was saying the video format just doesn't seem to be working. No worries. As I mentioned, we want a clutter-free background. And especially as you're trying to create video that sets a mood, you're going to want them to be in alignment. So whether it is a background that is clean and smooth and dark, along with the sultry music, and his energy is high energy, but also very low key on purpose. All of those things should work together. Otherwise, there's a bit of a disjointedness. So as we are thinking about this video content, yes, I appreciate. Thank you so much for letting us know the sounds did not work. And we're, it was fabulous to get so many video submissions from video creators who are continuing to create video content. I encourage you to do this if you can, if you have the opportunity. Yes, David, thank you. Tech issues do happen, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you hanging around. We appreciate you being a part of this, and we hope that you take some time and shoot a video to submit that could potentially be used in a future Ask the Expert session. We've got two coming up. One with Sharon Delaney, and then another one with Lucy Griffiths. And it's an opportunity to really get your message out there and to really have a little bit of like eyes on your work. Get people to get an idea of what you do, and also maybe get a little bit of feedback so your next videos are better and have a little bit more of a difference, maybe more of a difference, maybe a little bit more of a push for that next thing that you are creating. Okay, I appreciate you hanging around with us. And despite the technology issues, sometimes those happen. Please, if you're still here with us, even if you're watching the replay, What was your big takeaway? What are some of the takeaways that you got from this session? I would love to hear, as it helps us to know whether whether this is content that hits home, that makes sense for you as you are trying to create video content. I'll tell you that with the Big View app, it is continuing to evolve, and that AI writer helps as it is coming to you as you're trying to create ideas and scripts and things like that. So if you have the Big View app, it allows you to have a thought partner as you're creating your video content. And then the scripts are right there for you to shoot with the phone right here. So it just makes it a lot easier as you are trying to get more confident and more comfortable with creating more and more content. David says, don't be discouraged, keep going forward, learn, apply, enjoy it, go for it all the way. We crawl, we walk, and then we run. David, thank you so much. That's amazing. And Kevin is saying, Kevin with the Big View team, saying by preference, please submit your videos in the MPEG-4 format. Yep. So it makes it a little bit easier if the formats are consistent. And maybe that's some of the issue related to some of the static, some of those things like that. But we'll get that straightened out as we do more of these sessions. And we certainly appreciate your time. We appreciate all of your comments and your engagement. Like I said before, this is such a great community. It is an opportunity to find like-minded people who are trying to create the same thing. And maybe your next accountability buddy is here in this community. In the meantime, I really appreciate your time, appreciate you spending some time with me, getting hopefully some lessons, using the focus formula to create your next video content and feel more confident about it. I appreciate you staying with us and hanging out with us. Bruno, thank you. Kevin, thank you. And we'll catch you next time. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
You can own any room you walk into and instantly show up as the leader in your space. Hi, I'm Cheryl Tan. I'm a former TV news anchor turned entrepreneur, and I love working with leaders to help them develop 3 pillars of communication success: messaging, presentation, and strategy. Does this sound like you? You aren't sure how to look professional on stage or on camera, and that impacts how confident you feel showing up at all. You don't know how to describe what you do simply and clearly. You are most certainly an expert in your industry, but you haven't figured out yet how to explain that better. And finally, you don't have a presence anywhere, or at least an online presence you're proud of, which means you need to figure out how you want to show up and what you need to do to create that platform. My custom plan focuses on your message, your presentation, and your strategy. Once those 3 things are working for you, you will get noticed by the right people and opportunities. The best way to see if we're a fit is to have a conversation. Go to CherylTanMedia.com/consultation to book a call. I can't wait to hear your story.
With the Big View teleprompter, create videos you're proud of. Easily trim your video by selecting the words where you want to start and end. Color your presentation with automatic subtitles and highlighting keywords. Add your brand logo. Add music for an emotional touch. Add your contact info on an animated business card on all your videos. Easily replace green screen with an image or a video loop. Stand out with a web page with your logo, your video at the center, and personalized button for visitors to interact. It's one tap to simultaneously upload your videos on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Always know what to say next with the Big View teleprompter.